Oh nah. The Sonic Unleashed PC port got me acting like Fadel Games Cage here. They got me on that. Call me Sonic the way I unleash my nuts in your mouth. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Cage. Now let me catch you all to speed. Sonic Unleashed is a Sonic game released in 2008. Very polarizing during its release, later grew to be a bit more loved by the core audience. Problem, it's an antiquity stuck in consoles that were running the game on hopes and dreams. Its performance was a bit premature at times on the Xbox, and God bless your heart if you got through the game on the PS3 version. I will know. I was one of those poor fucks. However, despite the visual pandemonium that occurred whenever I decided to pick up my speed up from a light jog, Sonic Unleashed ended up becoming one of my favorite games in the franchise. And fuck it, I'm just gonna say it, it's probably my favorite Sonic game ever. I guess it would be appropriate to say that I have a lot of nostalgia for the game. Despite being 2 years old when the game came out, I didn't have a PS4 until 2016. Shut up! I have played it in a bunch of different ways since, mainly through the Xbox Series S, which allowed me to play the game in a succulent, consistent 60 frames per second. However, the modern reach on the game was limited to a small demographic of players who had to not only own an Xbox console, which has the value equivalent to the phrase adequate at best, but also had to be fans of a franchise whose games can often be described with, if you squint your eyes, then maybe. Not anymore though, because Sonic fans decided to do their own thing and release the closest thing to a modern Sonic Unleashed port. An unofficial modern Sonic Unleashed port to PC. So considering that Sonic Unleashed is a hot topic right now and that I haven't uploaded jack shit for damn near 4 months, I thought it fitting to spend... Dude, 4 months, that's such an insane time. Bro, college is kicking my ass. I thought it fitting to spend a good couple of minutes glazing Sonic Unleashed.
Oh, please don't say that you'll go. My heart can't bear the news.
Now Sonic Unleashed starts, but I'm already finished! Yes, sir! The game starts with frankly one of the best cinematics we have ever witnessed in the history of the franchise, with some of the most detailed, fluid, jaw-dropping animation to ever feature Sonic in it, and it's honestly incredible because no other game in the franchise will ever have this level of budget following this. Matter of fact, and skipping a bit ahead, Sonic Unleashed is still arguably the best looking game in the series to this very day. Recently, Sonic games have started to see a noticeable increase in quality in the visuals department, but before that they were moving these boys like they were a 3D animated show that needed to have an episode out by next week. Oh nah, get these guys a massage, they are looking stiff! The visuals in Sonic Unleashed feel so much livelier than in future entries, with the animations and the level of detail both in characters and in the world itself. My goodness! Because the plot of Sonic Unleashed deals with Eggman's toxic knot resulting in the continent's social distancing, you have to go to different locations to fix up the global fuck-ups being committed by the greediest of entrepreneurs on the planet. This right here is a perfect example of the greed that they talk about in the Bible, bro. Literally causes a worldwide catastrophe just to build a theme park. People really be doing anything for 50 bucks and a lighter! The location of the game are all based on real life countries, or at least locations. The US, Greece, China, for some reason Alaska. We already did the US, but fuck it man, we can do it again! And the levels all reflect the themes perfectly. Throughout all the stages, you're constantly running around levels littered with people and things from the distinct cultures, making it feel like these are populated places that are admittedly suffering from a bunch of acts of terrorism. Eggman is causing a bunch of damage and is firing super death laser beams at populated areas. If there was some little Jimmy walking behind me, that guy is cooked! The level theming makes these some of the best level ideas in the franchise, with a surprising amount of creativity from stages that are often cities or other popular areas, and running around these places with the amount of detail put into these levels is a pure delight. While not being one of those many elements that Sonic Team will stagnate on following Unleashed, the soundtrack of the game is also another one of those aspects that sets Unleashed apart from the rest of the series before and after. To match the settings of all the locations being visited, the soundtrack of the game features many instruments to match the regions that serve as the inspirations for the levels. Spagonia, Albatos, Chunnan, and all the other stages use real aspects from their inspirations to craft the melodies of the game, and it creates a wonderfully diverse soundtrack that highlights every level without having a single one sound similar. Overall, the Sonic Unleashed soundtrack is absolutely incredible. It's not my favorite Sonic soundtrack, but it is one that does a damn good job at what it does. The gameplay of Sonic Unleashed is also another aspect that sets the game apart before and after, becoming the foundation of almost all Sonic games following it, and an incredibly good fucking foundation at that. The boost formula is introduced here, having Sonic speed through stages faster than he ever did beforehand, creating stages about quick reflexes and optimization. The levels often test the player players' reactions and management of the boost gauge. Now, you may have been led to believe that the stages are all figured out when you press the trusty boost gauge, but believe me in my many clips of me falling into the void that it is not that easy and that people are lying to you or are just objectively bad at the game. The levels are fun, they're challenging, filled with set pieces, and more than that, they are highly replayable. There was a good chance that after beating a level, I would just sit my ass down and replay it right away because I wanted to try again because the levels are just that good. Replaying all the Daylight stages reminded me just why this was the foundation for nearly all of Sonic's future titles, because it does basically everything from the boost formula perfectly. Even now, with many good examples of modern Sonic levels, those still can't compare to the set dressing of the world of Unleashed and the design of the levels. Let me break it down for you. These stages are the perfect representation of what it feels like being Sonic. Going around the stages quickly, dodging obstacles, exploring and sightseeing, this shit is magical! The worst part about the day stages is simply the fact that Sonic's controls are the equivalent of always playing in ice because, man! I also think that the exploration, more particularly the medals, could be better designed. I said previously that the set dressing of these stages make the levels feel fully alive and like real places, but how the fuck am I expected to even begin to think that a medal is gonna be hiding in this danky ass corner? Sega, I am gonna hurt you. The medals are the things allowing you to progress through the game, and for the most part, there was never a point in which I needed to go back and hunt for them. Now granted, I was constantly replaying the daytime stages, but it also helps that I took my time exploring in the nighttime stages. Now the controversial part about Sonic Unleashed is the hidden dark side of Sonic that plays A and Bs whenever it comes out. On some The Werehog is the make or break aspect of the game for many people, as it is the portion of the game that occupies the biggest amount of playtime while also featuring a vastly distinct playstyle from the Sonic norm. The Werehog basically transforms the game into a hack and slash like God of War, having Sonic beat the shit out of many enemies and do a lot of quick time events just like the good old days. Now obviously, a lot of people had problems with this kind of gameplay style back in 2008 because, I mean, remember who this guy is meant to be? I can't even say that it's unreasonable to dislike the style now, because even I feel like they could have chosen a different route from just turning Sonic into a God of War clone and making a completely different playstyle from what a Sonic game, and more specifically Sonic Unleashed, are trying to achieve. Literally not even 2 minutes ago, I felt the wind, the speed, on my ballsack. Why am I on the ring now? Doing something a bit more similar to, I don't know, a Mario game with a more platforming focused approach, or hell, Psychonauts with its good implementation of combat in a 3D platformer will work really well, if not better than what the Werehog was trying to do. Slow-paced levels aren't the issue itself, as that has always been a part of the series ever since the first game, with admittedly mixed results are on the board, but the problem is more so just the fact that the game is a completely different fucking game on its own that just happens to have Sonic in it. However, despite all the criticisms that you can give the Werehog, it is admittedly still a really fun playstyle when you give it a chance to shine. The combos and the enemy variety managed to keep the game interesting for long enough, but if I hear another Sonic fan even insinuate that this game clears DMC, Bayonetta, or any title like that, I'm gonna take a shot in the dark, guess the country you live in, and then go to the country right next to it because I'm actually here for touring. But if you hear about me, then you know you better look out. Now the worst part about the Werehog is, well, first off, the desert level because all of its enemies are annoying garbage, but second, the fact that whenever I throw a punch, my eardrums are cursed with ancient incantations from long-gone civilizations kidnapped by the Kids' Choice Awards. The nighttime stages in Sonic Unleashed feature some of the most serene, calming, beautiful compositions that you're ever gonna see in the franchise, and they're constantly interrupted because whenever you fight an enemy, you hear this. Let me have a second of peace, I beg of you! That's a little challenge. Take a shot every time you don't listen to this theme for more than 10 fucking seconds. Experts rather suggest you jumping off a cliff. This is the one change that the PC port made that I absolutely adore because I finally get peace and tranquility here and I can finally revive the dead! Despite all the flaws with the Werehog though, I still think that it is still pretty fun. Not perfect, nor my favorite hack and slash, but a pretty good second half to what I would still consider my favorite Sonic game. Sonic Unleashed captures a lot of the things that I love about Sonic into one. It has my favorite version of the boost formula, one of the best, most unique soundtracks in the series, and a level of detail and time that has only recently started coming back to the franchise. Now that Sonic Team is actually allowed to do shit again, I really want to see how they'll follow up the ideas established by the last two main titles. The future is looking brighter than ever, but for today, I just wanted to reminisce and glaze one of my favorite games ever for a short bit. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I'm just a random stranger met on the internet, but hey, just call me Suda.